Nattu, Associate Board Director and Business Director at Creativebrief. Welcome to the Agency Brand Leader interview series. And today we have the lovely Rania Robinson, CEO and partner of Quiet Storm. Thank you so much for joining us, Rania.
Stephanie. Hi.
Hello. So let's get started. Tell us a little bit briefly about your agency brand and your proposition.
Okay, so we talk about positively transforming businesses, lives and society through creativity. And we do that through what we call creativity with purpose. And I guess it's got a couple of dimensions to it. I think lots of people have kind of, in some ways, purpose has been hijacked now to be social purpose and kind of changing the world. And we have an element of that through our Create Not Hate, not-for-profit organisation. But we talk about it in the kind of original sense of the word, which is about building meaning around your brand and your business that goes above and beyond just your products and services.
So what makes your agency brand unique in 3 words?
Well, I think our not-for-profit division organisation, Create Not Hate, brings a really interesting dimension to the business where it brings kind of underrepresented talent into the industry, and it brings a whole pool of talent that we can access that can bring a fresh perspective to brand challenges and brand opportunities. I guess we have that. The employee ownership trust component to the business is really unusual. And also the fact that we write and direct and produce our own work as well. I know that's businesses do have production components, but for us the big difference is that the creatives write and direct big TV work as well as the kind of smaller content-led work.
Brilliant. And why is it important for you to continue to always build your agency brand?
Well, I think very much like the work we do for our clients, when you're building a brand, it's such a competitive landscape, whatever industry or marketplace you're operating in. And it's really important to have a clear sense of who the brand is, so you can differentiate yourself and distinguish yourself from your competitors. And I think it kind of shortcuts and navigates customer choice and client choice. So the same applies to how we build our own brands, and so it's very easy for a client to get a strong sense of what kind of service to offer and what you stand for and what you're going to provide as a service for them.
And in your opinion, what makes an agency brand strong?
I think integrity is really important. I think, like with any brand, you want that consistency that gives you a really strong sense of what a brand stands for, and then living and breathing it and acting it out all the time. I think consistency is so important. Having a clear sense, a distinctive, strong sense of who you are is really important as well. The danger is you just try to appeal to everybody and then sort of don't really powerfully enough appeal to anybody. So I think for us, what we've learned is over the years is to really strongly embrace who we are and be confident that there's enough clients out there that are going to love that. And not everybody's going to love it, and that's absolutely fine. But the people that do really love it, they really love it, and they end up becoming really strong advocates, really long-standing, loyal customers. And like I said, you really do stand out when you're up against other agencies because you've got that strong sense of who you are. And there's, for us, we feel like, there's enough people out there that kind of have those shared values, have those shared philosophies, and you'll have that kind of strong connection with.
Yeah. And is there a difference, say, compare that to 10 years ago in terms of what makes an agency brand? Do you think there's a difference?
I think it's more important now than ever to be distinctive, like it is in any category, to be honest, because there's so much more competition and it's more complex and there's so many more business models and different propositions and different offerings, and our clients' needs have changed massively, and so they need stronger navigation around what they're buying to make it kind of easy for them to be really clear on, okay, that's going to fit that need versus that. So I think more than ever, I think it's always been important, but probably more than ever now, having a strong sense of the agency's brand, what they stand for, what they're going to get, and making sure as an organisation you deliver against that brand as well, that what you're putting out in the world, the experience isn't disappointing for clients when they come in and actually experience that, because that's going to be a short-lived relationship. So it's that, and that goes back to the integrity point, is that you've got to have a brand with integrity through consistency and living and breathing it,
And what would be your number one tip to other sort of agency leaders to help them build their agency brand?
I think be yourself is really important. I think where we've gone wrong is when we've sort of tried to sort of be something we're not. And I think what we've done over the years is really embrace who we are. And like I said, recognize that that's not going to be for everybody, but there's going to be plenty of people out there where that's a perfect fit, and they become really strong, meaningful relationships. So I would say just celebrate the truth of who you are and embrace it. And
I love that. I really love that. And what are your sort of wider plans for the rest of the year for your agency brand?
Yeah, I think for us it's focus. Mm-hmm. I think it's been challenging. I think it has been a tough couple of years for the industry, for the economy, for the country, and I think just making sure that we are deploying our efforts and resources in a very considered way. I think to make sure that we are living up to our brand, if you like, and being able to deliver on the promise that we put out there. So I think for us, it's very much about focus. Yeah.
And I really, really appreciate that, because there are so many things that a new business and a marketing team and a senior leadership team could do to strengthen their brand, but you can't do it all. So to me, it's very much like, what are those 3 things that are you going to do until the end of the year that's going to get the most return?
Well, I think for us, we've always strongly focused on culture. And I think that is something that we're going to continue on, because the culture informs everything. It informs the talent you can bring in. It informs the talent you can keep. It informs the kind of experience our clients are going to have with our teams, because they're feeling inspired and motivated and kind of, invested. So we will continue to invest in culture, putting out great work, again, because it's the evidence is in the work, and delivering really effective, powerful work. So that's always going to be something where we're going to put a strong focus. And the third thing is just make sure we're just enjoying ourselves a bit. It's like it's a fun industry. We've all come into it because we don't want to be, doing the kind of mundane, boring jobs. And I think sometimes that can get forgotten a bit. Is we just want to make sure we still have fun as well.
Brilliant, love that. 2 more for you. So, which agency brand do you most admire and why?
Yeah. Well, I really admire Lucky Generals. And I think because it's very rare that I've seen a piece of work come out of there that I haven't loved. And I think it's back to that point of consistency. That they're going to do some great work. I think Helen's incredible. I've got a lot of respect for Helen as a leader as well. Obviously, I've got a relationship with her through Wackle. I think they're just solid. They've been around a long time and they're consistently doing great stuff. So, yeah.
And how do ESG frameworks inspire or build into creating strong agency brands?
Well, I think it goes back to the culture point that I was making. And I think people need to believe in what they're doing and believe in the people they're working for now more than ever, and particularly the new generation of people coming into the industry, more so than ever. And I think if you don't have strong ethical values as an organisation, it's going to put a lot of people off wanting to work with you. And I think even at brand level, you can't operate in isolation now as a brand without thinking about the impact you're having on the world and society. We can't live that. We've got to live those values ourselves to help kind of promote that with our clients as well. And I don't know any organisation really that isn't looking at those things. They're all on different sort of paths and different sort of the different levels of the journey, if you like. But I think for us, it's just you just simply can't operate now. And certainly, again, it's back to the next generation consumer, the next generation employee, the next generation. You just can't operate without that in mind.